at this particular moment in our own country? Well, any country that is serious with regards to progress and development must take its youth very serious. There cannot be a nation that will prosper without taking youth very serious. I would like to start by telling a short story or going back to the history of not just Nigeria but Africa in general. In the last 7 decades or 70 years, more than $1 trillion were paid and received by African countries in terms of monetary developmental aid or humanitarian aid. Meaning, by the time they give you free money, your economy is supposed to grow or you have excess of funds. So if you have poverty rate, it should go down. But the reality is, this aid that is coming from the Western countries did not help us in any way. In the last few decades, the poverty rate in Africa was less than 11%. Today, we are at 60-something%. Okay, let's go back. Let's put ourselves back into our reality today. We talk about making progress, and the youth are the energy or the engine room for a nation to grow or for a nation to move forward. The reality is there must be the right institutions in place. That is one. Secondly, there must be the right culture. I am happy when one of the representatives of the Teachers Council of Nigeria is here, and also the technology NIDA representative is here, and the NYC. So almost everything about the youth is present here. There cannot be any reliable national development plan without the teachers. It cannot be that in a country like Nigeria, people working in central bank or other government institutions are taking remunerations that are 3 to 10 times more than what a teacher is taking. Then we are not serious as a country. Teaching is the first, not just the teaching, the subject. We need to encourage our students, our youth, not to become just doctors, engineers, and so on. There must be teachers of mathematics, the basics. There must be teachers of English language. There must be teachers of every single language in this country. Without teachers, there is nowhere we can go. Let's come back today. We have done election. Professors there, and at the end of it, we are in court, from one tribunal to court, and we are all in this together. Why? Because teachers have been taken for granted. You cannot make progress. Mark my words, with all these beautiful presentations, with all the statistics, if the teachers are not there, the morality will not be there. The patriotism will not be there. Take a look at the story of Malaysia and Singapore. What had happened? They were a confederation before, then at a point they become individual countries. But when they turned to be individual countries, Lee Kuan Yew took the leadership. And by taking that leadership, he did not relax. His first point of contact was the teachers. I keep repeating teachers. Because look at the economy today. We have our inflation rate at 27-point-something%. Go back to the banks. What is the lending rate? If you take 100 million from the bank, you are to pay 20-something%. I don't know that. How? What magic will you do to a young man leaving the university to make a progress? Give him 100 million. The inflation is at 27. and the lending rate in the bank is at 20 something. What is he going to do? He will move around the cycle of poverty. This is the reality. Unfortunately, I might not bring up things that will ginger you, but things that will keep you on your toes. So that as a young person leaving the university, you should know what is confronting you. As a nation with over 200 million people, and then about 50% in their active economic years, it is unfortunate that we could not harness the revenue, because there cannot be a nation without finance, and the finance is both internal and external. On the external, we must take care of debt. We must not borrow money. They are useless. We must not take aid from these Western countries. They are keeping us in cycle of poverty. On the internal sectors, institutions should be there that will encourage young people to go into agriculture, to go into mining, to go into tourism. What do I mean by these institutions? If you want to go into agriculture, you need land. Who will give you land? Land belongs to the government. By finishing your NYSC, there are locations in these countries, better land, so much better land. People are so jam-packed in Karu, in all these places around the FCT. If the government should give them real lands, that will be a step one of it. You have access to land. Then there must be access to capital. What makes capital accessible is when the banks are ready to give loans and at low interest rates. You cannot give any young person double-digit loan rate and think you are helping him. You are keeping him as a modern slave. It has happened on several occasions. I will end by telling a short story. I have been opportune to work in organizations, and as I work, I study. I look at the realities of life. People go to university. We were taught that you go to university, you finish, and you get a job. But the reality is, we have 36 states. If each state graduates 1,000 students, it means at the end of the day, we have 37,000 graduates. Do we even have the capacity to absorb 37,000 people in the service, both public and civil service, state government, federal government? For God's sake, can we tell ourselves the truth? Do we have the capacity to absorb it? Then the answer is no. We can absorb every year 37,000 students to become employed. So the issue of unemployment is not a problem. It is our reality. In fact, the word unemployment is Oyibo, or is foreign. So we should look at who we are as Africans. Find solutions. Where farmers, we should go and farm. Where miners, we should go and mine. But if the institutions within the economy are not run properly, what this kind of arrangement is going to breed, it will breed insecurity and lack of trust. That is why today you may have the capacity to farm your land, but when you go there, you get kidnapped. How do you solve that problem? Insecurity. You may have the capacity to go into the mining. We have seen people coming asking, where is your mining license? But then if you turn around, you see Chinese people doing one mining or the other. What had happened? Where have we gone wrong in this country, for God's sake? And these Chinese people are not just picking unnecessarily. Is there any coordination? Containers are leaving this country every day. It is what belongs to you and I. We need the leaders that will put an end to that. Tourism. We have beautiful places all over this country. You go to the northeast, you go to the northwest, if you go to the south, you will have beautiful places where people can relax and enjoy. It can even attract foreign investors. But let me tell you one thing. No foreigner, as an investor, that know what he's doing, will go into any country where the laws are not clear. So law, the judiciary, our laws, They must declare. If I invest my money, I should be able, when there is trouble, to go to court and get a redress, proper redress. If I put in my money, the economy should be in such a way that there is a sustained and predictable stability in the economy. I did not even say economic growth. For you to move out of poverty in any developing nation, there must be sustained economic growth that must be at nothing less than 5% of that GDP. If not, you are not going to move anywhere. We have been in this mess for so long, for God's sake. Since 1999, we have been electing or selecting or they have been appointing leaders to us. Then sometimes they turn around to say, this is a youthful government, you engage the youth. But the reality is you have to go into the real youth, not people that finish university and some selected people that are attached or are connected to the elite. They will be in positions, and what will be their priority? To make sure the elite keep taking advantages of the masses of the people. The masses are left to linger in poverty, diseases. For God's sake, I will ask that finally a question. How do our leaders feel when they say a Nigerian died of malaria? Malaria is a preventable disease. Why will a Nigerian die of malaria? It means there is something seriously wrong. Finally, I'll go back to where I started. No nation, I repeat, will make any kind of progress without taking teachers very, very serious. We must encourage our young people to go into basics. There must be, in the universities, people should study mathematics, people should study physics, people should study chemistry, history, biology. You are not going to impress anybody. So you can't become a good doctor if there is no good teacher, for God's sake. And these teachers are the fathers of any country. Take the history of this country, of what the First Republic, the Shehu Shagari sat down. All these are teachers. Without morality, we are not going to make any progress. There are potentials in tourism, there are potentials in mining, there are potentials in agriculture. The government needs to do what is necessary, and we as Nigerians must look at our reality carefully, and we must be visionary. Thank you very much.